Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another YouTube video on the KP's Place channel. We have got today our Crown Jewel predictions video. So joining me today is none other than Scarlett and Kurt. They will be sharing their thoughts on all the matches that will be happening at Crown Jewel, providing this event does go ahead. But hey, let's carry on and let's get straight into things with our first match. So, first match taking place in our eyes could be the USOS defending their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships up against the Brawling Brutes, Butch and HOLLAND. Now, let's get into prediction wise. We're not going to go too sort of like in depth with the backstories and stuff with this. We all know what's gone on leading up to this one. I think this is a pretty straightforward one, to be honest. Start off quite easy. The USOS are going to retain their championships. They're not going to lose over in Saudi Arabia to the Brawling Brutes. I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward prediction in my eyes. Yeah, the USOS retaining. Butch and HOLLAND will probably have a decent match with the USOS. I think it'll be quite a fun one to watch. But at the end of the day, maybe with some interference, I don't know. The USOS will retain nonetheless. Kurt, what are your thoughts on this one, buddy?
So this match come out randomly, and obviously I'm going to go with the Usos this one because Brawling Brutes hasn't really done much to have the match against the Usos. So still the champions. I'm going to go for the Usos. Got nothing really much to say on this one. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I don't have much to add other than I think this will be a great start off match. I would be shocked if Brawling Brutes were able to take the titles from them, especially if it is over in Saudi Arabia. I think it should be a fun match. I'm sure we'll get lots of interference from the likes of Sheamus, maybe Sami Zayn. I'm sure they'll continue to plant seeds for the breakup of the bloodline. But yeah, should be a fun match. I believe the Usos will retain as well. Back to you, KP.
Yeah, had a feeling you guys would agree with me on that one. Our next match is Braun Strowman and Omos. So obviously, two giants, two mammoths here going at it. This is going to be one heavy hitting affair. I personally have a feeling that Braun Strowman is going to win this one. Obviously, you've got the factor of MVP being at ringside for Omos, and yeah, sure, that could be a distraction for Braun. They've played on Braun's stupidity in the past and stuff in previous feuds. I just don't think that Braun's going to take an L in this match. I think that it's his first, I guess, big match since coming back, and by big I mean it's on a bigger event. It's a premium live event against Omos. Obviously, it's like for like. It's the size. It's a big match in terms of the size of the two men. But yeah, I think Braun Strowman's going to win this one. It's probably going to be a pretty monstrous affair, quite hard hitting. But yeah, Braun getting the victory in the end. Over to you, Kurt.
So this is one of the matches that I've been looking forward to seeing at Crown Jewel. So personally, for me, due to WWE logic, I think WWE make Omos to win because I think this rivalry still continues, and then Braun Strowman ends it by beating Omos. So I think that MVP, Omos and Braun will clash together, and then at some point MVP will come on the ringside to distract Braun as he's got the opportunity, and then Braun hits MVP off ringside, and then Omos does one of his finishing moves to him, and then that's it. And then next SmackDown, I think it will clash together, and it'll be Braun versus Omos in a stipulation, I think, so MVP won't get involved. Over to you, Scarlett.
We differ in our opinions on this match because this is the bathroom break match for me. I have zero interest in Omos. I feel bad for Braun bringing him back and putting him in this feud. The only way I think he comes out on top is if he just dominates this match, but I don't see that happening either. I kind of hoped with Vince gone, Omos's push would disappear as well. But I guess maybe their end game here is how they've been building up Omos. Perhaps they're trying to build them both up, and like what you said, Gert, building this up to a 2 or 3 match feud. And as long as Braun comes out on top of the entire feud, I guess that's fine. Don't have a lot of high hopes for this, just not a big man wrestling fan myself. But I will take Braun in just the hopes that this is the end. Back to you, KP.
Yeah, it's wishful thinking, isn't it? Like, I'm not particularly a fan of Omos. I don't think he's great in ring. But hey, let's hope this one doesn't go on the long distance. Let's hope and have fingers crossed for that one. Right. Anyway, moving on to our next match. This one's a bit of an odd one, right? Obviously, we had Damage Control going into Monday Night Raw this week as the champions. Then Asuka made her big return, joining up with Alexa Bliss, and they were given a match on Raw, like pretty much instantly, just main event of the show. They ended up winning the tag team titles, which was a surprise. I'm umming and ahhing about this one. I have absolutely no clue, to be honest, in terms of for definite. I think my prediction probably could change when I'm asked, like given each day. But I mean, if I had to go in my head, I would say that Alexa and Asuka are going to retain here, because otherwise, why give them the championship victory on Raw? Like, just to have them lose it 5 days later in Saudi Arabia. I just don't see how it makes any sense. So, I mean, yeah, I guess if I had to pick one, I'd pick Alexa and Asuka. But I am 100% behind Damage Control getting their titles back and, righting the wrongs of Monday night. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's a definite that's going to happen, but in my honest opinion, go with my head, I'm going to have to say Alexa and Asuka retaining here. But we'll see what happens, I suppose. Kurt, over to you, pal.
So I agree with KP on this one. This is an odd match. For some reason, just added it in. And it was a surprise that Alexa and Asuka won as they just returned. And for my prediction, I'll just think Alexa and Asuka will retain the titles, because there's no point of them just getting the titles and losing them again after 2 nights. So I think Asuka and Alexa will retain, and I think Damage Control will intervene in the further match coming up. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, it definitely a head scratcher. Regardless of how this match ends, you're left wondering, why did that happen on Monday? It was so sudden. They requested the match, they got the match, they won the titles in just one night. I almost kind of wonder if one of the members of Damage Control, being Io or Dakota, maybe are injured or something. It didn't appear so during the match on Monday, though, so I don't know. I think best case scenario, Damage Control wins it back in kind of a screwy finish or something to prove that Damage Control wants to be on top and they'll do anything to get there. But then I don't know how you write off Alexa and Asuka just like that either. So I guess I'm going to go with Asuka and Alexa as well. But just because they just won the titles, other than that, I had no other reason to choose them. We'll see what happens, but I really had high hopes for Damage Control here. Back to you, KP.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, to be fair, guys. I think we're all on the same wavelength there. Let's, cross our fingers. Hopefully Damage Control do get that dub. But anyway, on to the next match. We've got Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley here. Big match feel to this one. Obviously, these two men have a little bit of history in the past. I'm talking Royal Rumble a couple of years ago now. Actually, no, was it last year? I think it was last year, wasn't it? Anyway, regardless, these two are set to clash at Crown Jewel. We've had the build up to this match with Bobby losing the United States Championship because of the Brock Lesnar attack beforehand, and things have spiraled, and obviously we're getting to this position. Okay, so these two men, I think this match is going to be crazy. I think it's going to be freaking intense. I think it's going to be like carnage, chaotic. And they would be stupid at WWE to make this one a short match. I think this has got to be at least 10, 15 minutes minimum. Probably I would go 15. And I think these guys just need to absolutely tear it apart. Like, there's so much animosity between this one. And I want to see, like, complete chaos. Like, that's essentially what it goes down like. But I think at the end of the day, we'll be seeing Bobby Lashley as the winner of this match. I think because of, obviously, the build-up with Brock costing on the championship. And then, obviously, basically building up to that point where Bobby's furious. I think he's going to get his retribution at Crown Jewel. I think he's going to get his rewards for it. So yeah, in my mind, Bobby Lashley wins this match, but it's going to be one hell of a slobber knocker. Kurt, over to you.
Yeah, this is one of the matches that I'm my second I'm looking forward to in the night, because these two are big men and they'll fight each other. I'm hoping it does something like Brock Lesnar did with Roman at SummerSlam, like flip the ring over like they did. So they've been feuding, and then WWE is making Bobby Lashley as the strongest man and Brock as the weakest one so far. So I'm going, for my prediction, I think Bobby will win this one. And then I think they'll win again. To go against each other again at Survivor Series or next event. And then Brock will get Bobby back, and then they'll go on to something else. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I don't think, I hope Bobby wins as well. If not, then I kind of feel like right before Brock cost him the title, I felt like he was kind of at the best, most over he's ever been in his career. So I like to think Bobby winning this match kind of continues that. Bobby losing here, not that Brock's, a pushover by any means, but I just kind of think that would kind of halt his momentum he had going before he lost the title. And Brock losing a non-title match, I would think would be a lot more likely if Brock had a title on him, or Bobby for that instance as well. If it was a title match, I don't know if I'd pick Bobby to win, but because if not, I think Bobby wins here and hopefully continues that momentum he had. Back to you, KP.
Thank you very much, guys. Yep, glad to see that we're all sort of in agreement with that one. Think it's going to go one way only, this one. Okay, so what is our next match then? It is the Raw Women's Championship match. This is a last woman standing match. So when I heard that this was the stipulation, I was so hyped. These two can put on a great match with anything. And obviously they've had that ladder match recently at Extreme Rules. Now they're doing it last women standing style. This is going to be fantastic. I hope to hell this match lives up to the hype that I think it should do. Again, this whole damage control situation with the titles and whatnot, it's a whole confusing one, but I just can't look past Bayley for this match. I think, obviously, me predicting last time that Bianca would retain at Extreme Rules, that happened. We come to this situation now. I just don't think they're going to say no to Bayley twice. I think they gave Bianca that win, and this time Bayley's getting the victory. I think we're going to have some interference, probably from the rest of Damage Control, Io and Dakota, and then also from Asuka and Alexa. I think everyone's going to be getting involved in this one. But I think the devious antics of Bayley at this moment will be enough to get the victory. And I think Bianca, it's about time that, we can see a new champion. I think Bianca's had a great run. But yeah, I'm definitely ready for a Bayley championship run now. And I think we all should be. So yeah, my opinion is Bayley. Kurt, what have you got to say, lad?
So agreeing with KP, I think it's Bayley's time to win this, because Bianca's been doing this for a long time, and she had a good title run. So I think Bayley's going to win this, and obviously Damage Control and Asuka and Alexa will intervene in this. And I hope this match is good as Edge versus Finn at Extreme Rules that we had before, with like interference and lots of equipment bashing each other. So my prediction for this is Bayley being a new Raw Women's Championship. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I think Damage Control losing the titles on Monday kind of point towards Bayley retaining. If Damage Control still had the tag belts, I don't think I would pick Bayley. Because I could, see that going one more match maybe before wrapping up this feud, and then maybe giving Bayley the title match at that point. But if Bayley doesn't win here, then all of a sudden Damage Control went from what we thought having all the titles to having none of the titles, and then this face team having all the titles. So I don't think that's the direction they're going, and I don't think that makes Damage Control look good. Building them up, and then all of a sudden they don't have any titles. So I think Bayley's going to win just because of that. I'm not confident in the pick, and I've loved this feud, and I love Bianca's reign so far. Love both competitors, but yeah, I think you have to give Bayley the title here to give Damage Control any sort of momentum. Otherwise, I'm worried about the this team going forward. Back to you, KP.
Thank you very much, Scarlett. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there, which is great to see. Okay, this next match now is Drew McIntyre against KARRION Kross in a steel cage match. So, I mean, honestly, I think this one could go either way if I'm looking at it level-headed. But, I mean, we had Extreme Rules. We had KARRION Kross getting that victory over Drew McIntyre in that strap match, which, again, wasn't particularly fussed with. But, nonetheless, KARRION got the win. Scarlett interfered. You know, it all helped in the long run for Kross. I think this match is going to be completely different. I think we're going to be seeing Drew McIntyre with a big victory in Saudi Arabia on this event. I can't see Kross getting 2 wins in a row over Drew. And I think, honestly, if we're going to keep handing Drew L's at events, then it's eventually going to catch up with him. I think he needs now to get a win, get back on track, and maybe they can even have a rubber match after this, have Drew against KARRION 3, and then, you know, obviously this win for Drew would tie things up, have that third match and see maybe who gets the victory in that one there. But yeah, I think Drew McIntyre winning this one, steel cage. There's no way in hell either of these two escape from the cage. It's probably going to be pinning or submitting the other one. Probably pin if I'm thinking that Drew's going to win because of Claymore. But yeah, I think, yeah, Drew McIntyre to win. Scarlett's going to try and get involved, but I think Drew is going to have enough wits about him this time to get over that interference. That's my opinions on this match. Kurt, what are your thoughts, buddy?
So same goes to KP. Obviously, they've been clashing at Extreme Rules, which that match wasn't really that good, and KARRION Kross became the winner. And for this one, I think my prediction is Drew McIntyre to win. Same goes from KP saying that he's been on a losing streak so far. So I think he'll upcome his winnings and win this match. And hopefully it's better than the Extreme Rules one. So, and I think Drew McIntyre will claim more KARRION Kross to get the win. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I obviously, just because this is a steel cage match, I think the intention was to limit the interference from Scarlett, but I by no means believe that will, I guess it will limit it, but I still seeing Scarlett interfering as much as possible and finding some creative ways to do it. Yeah, this is kind of the same. You know, I didn't care for the match at Extreme Rules either. I'd never seen a strap match I liked, so I didn't have high hopes for it in the first place. But the kind of the same situation as we had at Extreme Rules. You know, you really don't want to hand either of these guys a loss. If anyone can take it, I would put Drew taking the loss before KARRION, just because Drew's become kind of set in that regard. He can take all the losses and still be over. I kind of would rather KARRION win this match and preferably do it without a lot of interference, because I don't, you know, it kind of made him look weak that he had all that interference just to win at Extreme Rules. So I think I'm going to take KARRION on this one, and I'm okay with that being the end of the feud too. I just want to see them have a proper match and hopefully limit the interference, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Back to you, KP.
All right. Interesting opinions there. We differ. I mean, yeah, let's see how that one goes down. It's going to be an interesting one for certain. Just obviously, as long as we get a better match than the previous one, I'm happy. Right. This next match, the OC taking on the Judgment Day. Now, this is one that I, like with damage control situation, I'm umming and ahhing about. I really don't know specifically which way this one is going to go. I think in my head, if OC do have a solution to the Rhea problem, then obviously they're going to have that X factor, they're going to have the surprise element, and they're going to be able to, you know, get one up on the Judgment Day in that respect. But if you look at it at face value, like we are looking at it right now, you obviously got the 3 against the 4. Obviously, I know it's 3v3 in the match, but obviously Rhea being that outside interference. Looking at it like this, I think that it would be the Judgment Day taking the dub. I think Rhea Ripley, you know, provides some sort of interaction, some distraction, and Judgment Day get the win. But I have a feeling that the OC have got something up their sleeves. They're going to have a solution to this Rhea problem, and they're going to have somebody help them out at Crown Jewel. And then I think the OC are going to get the victory in this match. But if it goes the other way, I wouldn't be so surprised. I wouldn't be completely shocked. So I can see it going either way. But it literally depends on that Rhea element. If they have a solution, they'll get the win. If not, it's going to be Judgment Day getting the dub for this one. Kurt, what do you think, pal?
So this match is the next one I've been looking forwards for. So obviously Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson returned to join AJ Styles for the OC again. And Judgment Day been tearing apart everyone. And for me, this time I think OC will win with a trick up the sleeves during what KP said. And obviously they won't. I'm expecting them to win because if they return now, we're expect them to have a loss straight away on their paper event. And I think this rivalry will still continue to next thing. So I haven't got much to say on this one. So I'm going with the OC to win this over the Scarlett.
Yeah, I think the storyline building up to this is Rhea being the X Factor, obviously. But sitting here thinking, who could the OC pick up? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this as well. I honestly can't think of anyone that would join with the OC to help them, unless it's just a random, draw a name out of a hat type situation. The only one I could come up with was maybe Charlotte, but that would be weird at best. I can't think of anyone else. So I think the match is going to end up being as shown, and I think Rhea will continue to cost them. I'd love to be surprised, but I just can't think of anyone who they would recruit. But again, I'd love to be wrong. But I think the Judgment Day is going to continue their run. I think they really turned it around since losing Edge. I didn't have much hope for them after losing Edge in the faction, but I think they turned it around, and I think they're really clicking on all cylinders at this point. I hate to see the OC losing a match again, but yeah, I think Judgment Day is just too hot right now. Back to you, KP.
Thank you very much, Scarlett. Yeah, regarding that, because I didn't really say who I think it was going to be, the OC picking up maybe just to fix Rhea's issue here. I have heard Charlotte's name be mentioned around this before, so that's not the first time I've heard this regarding the situation. I mean, does it really just go back to the fact that AJ and Charlotte teamed up before in the Mixed Match Challenge? I mean, that seems a bit of a stretch, doesn't it? I'm not really sure if that's the right direction we're going to go in again here, but we haven't seen Charlotte in so long. I mean, we've predicted on stream and on prediction videos before that Charlotte's going to come back and interfere in this match, but I mean that we've been wrong on those occasions. So I don't think that'll happen with Charlotte. But then again, who do I think it's going to be? I've got no idea. I have literally no clue. It could be anybody at this point. I mean, you could think logically. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the same thing I was coming to as well. I kind of went back to the Charlotte Rhea rivalry they had in the past, but even that kind of seems like you're kind of grasping at straws here. But yeah, as you said, I just can't think of anyone else to put in there. So
yeah, it's a weird one. It really, really is, because that was what I was going to say as well. If you could think about people who might not necessarily like Rhea Ripley, and then you could go on that sort of respect, who have feuded with her in the past, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's a difficult one. I think maybe we just see what happens, and maybe we're in for a surprise here. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
yeah, did you, Kurt, have any idea who you think it might be? Or
Well, so I've just thinking so far, it probably just might be a woman to even it out. So I'm thinking it's going to be like a mixed tag team for women's and men's at Survivor Series. That's what I'm thinking it's going to be. And I don't have an idea what women's going to be, because like some surprising women's have been returning so far. So, and I'm thinking Charlotte is true because they've been in Mixed Match Challenge, Charlotte and AJ. So that's what I think it'd be. And I think this match with Charlotte in will happen some point in the future. That is KP.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I feel like we've pretty much covered everything regarding this match now. So should we move on to the next one then? Okay, it's the main event. So Roman Reigns taking on Logan Paul for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And before we get properly into this match, can I just say the bloodline at the moment is absolutely fantastic. I think the product that they've got going at the moment is incredible. I think Sammy is so great at what he's doing, and I think everyone involved in this whole story is freaking fantastic. Then we go on to Logan Paul, and we have his third match in the company, and it's for the big one. It's for the undisputed championships. So he's got a big task ahead of him here. If rumors are to be believed, I have heard that his brother Jake is going to be at Crown Jewel. I don't know what capacity that's going to be in, whether it's just going to be backstage to show support and like travel with him and whatnot, keep him company. I don't know. Or if it's going to be a case of he's going to get involved in the match. Either way, I don't see a situation where Roman doesn't leave with the championships. I think it's going to be a defense. Roman's going to walk out with the titles as he has done for the last like over 2 years now. And yeah, it's going to be one of those situations where there's probably going to be a fair amount of interference, maybe from not from Sammy, sorry, from Solo Sikoa or maybe from the Usos. I think it's going to be that sort of situation here, but that's probably to combat the Jake Paul interference if he does go down that route. So yeah, I think if I had to say what's going to happen, I'd say Roman Reigns retaining, Jake Paul comes out, probably gets counteracted by Solo or the Usos maybe, and then Roman goes on to retain the championship. I think this whole lucky punch thing, this one lucky shot business with Logan Paul, he's probably going to land it, he's probably going to hit it, but it ain't going to pin Roman Reigns. There's no chance. Like, Roman's too big to get pinned by a punch. Like, that's never going to happen. I just can't see it. So yeah, my head says Roman Reigns, and I can't see any other situation except for that. Kurt, over to you, lad.
So we obviously had this match planned for a long time before Extreme Rules, and I'm 100% know that Roman's going to win. I doubt that Logan will get the titles because he's only been in 2 matches so far in his career. And as KP's saying about Jake Paul's coming, if he comes, I think he'll come down and support Logan for the match, and then I think Solo and Sammy will come down, and then they'll help Roman to get win. And then I think Usos will come, and Jay will go against Sammy and doing their feud, what they do always on SmackDown and Raw together. And then I think Solo and Jimmy will break it up, and then Paul Heyman will go on the ring apron to distract Logan for Summit, and then Roman will end it with a spear and retain the championships. That's what my prediction is, because I don't think Logan's ready for the championships yet. It's still going to be a Roman. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, to continue off, just the hype that is, the entire faction bloodline can do no wrong. And I don't even like the seeds they're planting to break them up, because it is one of those teams you don't ever want to see break up. But that being said, I think Logan Paul is going to win this match. No, I'm totally kidding. Roman's going to win. And this is going to, I've loved what Logan Paul has showed us so far. I think he could be a massive heel if he continues with the company. But yeah, it's Roman Reigns. But imagine Logan Paul winning this match, though, and just the chaos that would be social media. Logan Paul, this part-timer, coming in to defeat arguably one of the greatest runs ever in the history of WWE. That would be chaos. But no, I don't have anything exciting to add. Roman Reigns is going to win. Just hope for a good match, and I hope Logan Paul continues his wrestling, continues to improve on his wrestling skills. Because so far I've been pretty impressed. Back to you, KP.
Firstly, holy damn, you had me for a second there. Genuinely, like, I was thinking, you what? But no, I mean, fair enough. Like, you got me good. Fair play. So I'm glad that we all think that, this is going to go one way, and that is in the way of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, head of the table. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting main event. I'm hoping they showcase Logan Paul well. But, I mean, the event actually does sound pretty good. As far as Crown Jewel cards go over the past few years, I'm excited about this one a lot more than ones in the past have been, showcased. So, yeah, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how this one goes. There's some matches on there that are definitely taking my interest. Yeah, hopefully we get a good event. Okay, so also just remembering there's the Bray Wyatt appearance that's going to be happening some point at Crown Jewel. We don't really know too much about this. Kevin Patrick announced it during Monday Night's Raw, and it was basically a case of there was a little image on the screen, Bray Wyatt with the lantern, basically saying that he was going to be at Crown Jewel. And I think the words of Kevin Patrick was something along the lines of, tune in this Saturday to hear what he has to say. So I have a feeling it's literally just going to be either him being in, coming out to the ring and doing a little promo or something, maybe a couple of minutes, like he has been doing on SmackDown, or if we get a backstage element, which we've also seen before from him, since coming back. So I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. Probably just a little promo, and then possibly another little hint as to what's going to happen with him going forward. But I'm interested, definitely interested, because he's captivating as hell at the moment. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he has in store for us. Kurt, over to you.
So agreeing with you, KP, I think Bray Wyatt would just come out for a promo and talk about stuff, and then he'll get interrupted by that flickering image that he always does at SmackDown. But this time, I think the flickering image person will appear and face Bray and say to him, "I challenge you to a match," and then that feud will happen. And I think then they'll do the match, and he'll be a return superstar in the mask. And then some point in the future, they will reveal the superstar. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I don't have any shocking predictions. I just hope that, it's been a month now, right? The promos, and a month before that leading up to his debut. I just would like to see him wrestle at some point. Call me old fashioned. Maybe by the Royal Rumble we see him in a match. That's all I can hope for. Back to you, KP.
Yeah, I can agree. I just want to see him back in the ring doing what we love to see him do. That's basically how it goes, right? I believe the kickoff show starts at 3:00 UK time, I think, 1500 hours, and the main show an hour later, I think.
Great for you guys. You don't have to stay up till the crack of dawn to watch a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace. I'm happy with that. Yeah, so anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and predictions about what's going to go down this Saturday at Crown Jewel. Hopefully it's a good event. Hopefully we will enjoy it. And, obviously we'll be doing another video shortly after this with all of our reactions and all of our thoughts on the matches that happened. So thank you very much, Scarlett. Thank you very much, Kurt. I appreciate all your thoughts. And we are going to be heading off now. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been another KP's Place YouTube video with me, KP, Scarlett, and Kurt. That would be us. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you next time.